Okay, so get that out of the way. So we've got our image, we've straightened it up, we've got some nice kind of black and white areas going with this. So the next thing we need to do is talk about setting this up for coloring. Now with comic book coloring, a lot of people do something called flatting first, and that's what I'm going to show you. This is basically putting down the basic tones or colors, and this will allow you to select those and then do your effects and your gradients and blending later on. When you're doing your colors, you can choose a bunch of swatches, which are kind of pre-selected images, and the difference between your modes. Right now, the mode that I'm in, and we saw this in the last section, was grayscale. Now, if we were going to be going into print, we could go to Cmyk color. Cmyk stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and K is black. K being the last letter of black. It's just to avoid confusion with B for blue under RGB, which is red, green, blue, the color of light here. So if we were going to go to print, we could work in Cmyk color. If we're just doing web, though, we could work in RGB. There's a lot more color that can be shown in RGB. Just go into RGB just so we can kind of look at this. So you can find a bunch of kind of pre-made swatches for coloring your comics, and one of the online. And one of the reasons for this is print mixing in black with your cyan, magenta, or yellow colors can often muddy the colors and make them feel less vibrant. So rule of thumb, I've been told, with print comics is if you are going to do a color, and I'm just going to double click here on this color swatch here, you can see you've got your different modes, and here's your Cmyk, here's your HSB, which stands for hue, saturation, and brightness, RGB, the amount of red, green, and blue, and lab color, which is very complicated, and I really honestly can't tell you what the difference is. A and B are two different types of ways of kind of mixing color, and then L stands for lightness. Cmyk here, this is going to tell you what percentage of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black is in this. The kind of thing that the rule of thumb that you'll be told is that you never want your K or black tone to be lower than 40%. Anything lower than that, that's where you start to get those kind of muddier colors. And like I said, there are palettes over here in the swatches that kind of get rid of that. For this project, it doesn't really matter. You can do this in RGB. I just want you guys to be aware of that. Something else that I really want you all to be aware of is there are certain colors that can be shown on screen but can't be printed very well. If I were to go, for instance, go over to the green here, you can see that suddenly I get this little exclamation point. And let me go down a little bit further here. You can see that under this exclamation point, there's a different color. I don't know if you guys can see the difference between this on the screen, but this is a little bit more vibrant. This is a little bit more dull. And the reason for that is these colors can't be shown in a normal Cmyk printing process. So the color that you'll see here is, and you can kind of really see a difference here, the color that you're going to see here is the color that is going, that you want to print out, and this is the color that is actually going to be printed out. So you can see that there's a difference in that, and that's really, really important to be aware of if, once again, you're doing stuff in color. All right. That's the stuff I want to talk about with color. Let's actually go into setting up our process in the next video.